Oi, oi, I believe we are live. Punchestown preview. I obviously sound a little bit ropey. That's not just because I got battered on Saturday at Sandown. Some sort of gammy throat infection. So if I have to disappear in the middle of the live preview, it's because a doctor's on the phone. However, I don't really need a doctor. I've got Dr. Jaime here. You were firing in the winners on Saturday, mate. 25-1 winner in the opener. Hell and win. That must have paid for your weekend. And obviously, we're on to Punchestown now. I've given it a good look the first couple of days. That's what we'll be covering in this live bit because we've got final decks for Tuesday and Wednesday. Not necessarily every race because some of them's a bit cannon fodder, to be fair. But there's some good action. Jaime is very bullish about giving us all the winners. And obviously, I don't feel 100%. So apologies, ladies and gentlemen. But if I seem like I can't be asked, there's a little part of me that can't. But we want to give the viewers what they need, which is winners. So, Jaime, winners for Punchestown. Are you as bullish as Saturday? Because Saturday, as much as I was playing it down saying it was trappy cards and anyone that had a strong opinion was didn't necessarily say a moron, but I couldn't believe people would. You were quite bullish on a few and you were right on a few as well. So you had a good Saturday, right?
Yeah, it wasn't too bad, no. We can't complain. One of the good days.
Oh, and it fills you with confidence getting into Punchestown now, right?
Yeah, it does, yeah. Yeah, look, Punchestown is what it is, Dave. It's end of season stuff. You have to be very wary of. But the only thing is, it looks like look. Obviously, Willie Mullins is going to have a lot of winners, but it's going to be a little more competitive after him targeting the British Trainers Championship, I think. So, it's actually going to be very good. So, like, the only good side of it, I suppose, is the first time in a long time on a Tuesday that there's no odds on shot. So, look. That'll tell you how competitive it is. So, look, I'm really looking forward to it, actually, this time.
Nice. I mean, I am looking forward to it, even though my face doesn't say it is. It's fascinating this year as well because Jack Kennedy, first season I can ever remember that he hasn't broken bits and pieces, proper chance of getting a jockey's title. I hope that Paul Townend just lets him win it. Not that he needs to, but we know what Willie Mullins is like. He farms Punchestown. I'd love to see Jack. It would be an absolute crime if he never became a champion jockey. This is his chance to do it. Paul Townend's had one of his best seasons anyway, so it's a bit stupid to say, but I'm probably sentimentally going to be looking at a few of his rides thinking that Jack will be really bullish to give him like an extra half yard. That's not to say that Paul Townend won't, but yeah, something that plays on my mind a tiny bit. Right, let's crack on. Tuesday, I'm going to share the screen from the Racing Post, and you can see less of my face. We got a cross-country Ladies Perpetual Cup. Is your nap in this race, Jaime, or not?
Oh, God, no.
Okay, well, sorry for the ladies out there, but no bets. Second race, you said this before we came on, mate. You've done a very similar thing to me. We've tried to look for a winner, right? And I haven't got an opinion, and I don't believe you have either, right?
No, I don't. No, that's very hard.
World's greatest preview. Make sure you like, comment, and subscribe if you want us to skip more races. If you guys have got any fancies, though, in any of those races, please do drop them below because it'll be interesting to see what the markets move like. And especially in races we've had a good look at or we can't have an opinion, we could be missing something. We probably won't, but you never know. We might be. Right. Grade 1, Champion Novice Hurdle, an absolute cracking renewal. We've got Slade Steel, Mystical Power, Firefox. Paul Townend keeps the faith on Tuddy Hill. I don't really like Asian Master, so I don't want to, and I mentioned him. In Atlantic, Danny Mullins is finally on. I think a different tactical ride will be on him. Obviously, drops back in trip. King of Coonfield's in there. Fun, fast mode. I think in its entirety, right? Obviously, Slade Steel is the standout horse, hence why he's favourite. But all the way down to the bottom, these are pretty nice horses. The way I look at it, Jaime, is Firefox feels too big a price, but he keeps getting put in his place. So I feel like I'm just throwing money away looking for like a little each way play because a part of me thinks he can win, but I know that the other horses are going to have to falter for him. Like it's going to have to be too long a season for him, which could be the case for Mystical Power running at Aintree, couldn't it? Slade Steel's obviously got the proper chance in it, although I was hoping he'd have stepped up at Trip at Aintree, and obviously he wasn't going to step up in Trip at Punchestown because he wants to dodge Ballyburn, but there's a part of me that thinks Punchestown 2 miles Slade Steel could be vulnerable. So I think he's short enough. The only thing I'm semi-interested in doing, and I have had a tiny bit, is I think I can bet in Atlantic on the exchange at 18s, 20s, and I'm pretty sure with Danny Mullins being confident, he'll trade short. Like I reckon he'll trade 4 or 5 to 1. So I know that's not so good for a channel like this where people are looking for a bet, but I can see Il Atlantic fulfilling the promise that we all thought he had before, drop back to 2 miles, different change in tactics. So he's sort of where I'm sitting with it. But, I mean, towards the front of it, it looks like the market's got it about right. Where would your money be going, Jaime? Have you got a strong fancy in the first grade 1 of the week?
I I think Slade Steele's in the wrong race, Dave, and this dodging Ballyburn is the only reason it's here. I think back on a bit of better ground compared to Cheltenham anyway. He's definitely vulnerable around this track anyway, over 2 miles. I'm all over Mystical Power. I think it's Mystical Power's horse race to lose. 9-4. Not great, really, the price, but I think it was most impressive run, really, wasn't it? It was in the Sky Bet Moscow Flare over course and distance. I can't see any horse getting near, to be honest with you. Look, it's 18 days after entry, but it still had a campaign, to be honest with you. Ran in Galway, didn't come back then till the Moscow Flyer, ran the Supreme, ran an entry. I think it's just too good for these around here, Dave. Like, Mark is 148, £3 below State Steel. I mean, like, there ain't much between them, is there? Is there £3? Is he a £3 better horse than State Steel? Is £3 better horse than Mystical Power? I don't think so. Firefox, yeah, maybe. I suppose you go back to that race at Ferryhouse start the season against Ballyburn, but it got its own way that day, didn't it? Mm-hmm. One horse I can't have in is Tully Hill. Right, that needs a bog, and he's further. I don't know. I just can't have Tully Hill. Lackluster performance in the thing. Got a freebie the race. It was only, remember, you have to remember, it was only a listed race and beat No Flies in him, who got stuffed at Ferryhouse. Do you know what I mean? In Atlantic, I see where you're coming from with a change of tactics, but would it be change of tactics because Tully Hill can only run one way over 2 miles? Will they cut each other's throats? You might laugh at me here, the one each way, I think the whole field, and I think he got caught in the ground in the county. I remember he was second in the Royal Bond, and he loved better ground as King of Kingsfield. I can't understand why he's not running the handicap off 140, if I'm honest, but 33-1, 50 the odds, 3 places, bet 365. If the rain stays away to a minimum and it's, I think, what's there, 3-5 mil overnight or something like that, doesn't get into the ground, because it's Punchestown and it's unpredictable, he definitely has a squeak each way, and that's me being sentimental. But I think Mystical Power will win, yeah, and I'll go each way, King of Kingsfield.
Nice. They're definitely the types of races historically, like I can't read off the stats now, but there's always very well fancied and obvious winners, and then there's always a few little upsets where something will run well, and it may be the case that they run well at Punchestown, everyone takes them forward into the next season, and maybe they just ran well at Punchestown because a few potentially underperformed. So a few different ways in there. I do think the top and the bottom of it is, though, I think we're in the same thought process that Slade Steel, Mystical Power definitely should be closer to each other in the market, shouldn't they? Probably 2-1 joints. Maybe you think that Mystical Power should be short, but anyway, good performance at Aintree. We saw that John Bond managed to come back from having a short layoff to go and win at Sandown, and like you say, this is a track that suits Mystical Power. So, I mean, Jamie's given us a winner to begin with. This, right, handicap hurdle, listed race, is one that I would imagine if you were to ask 100 people what they fancied, I reckon more than half of them would say that they want to bet Daddy Long Legs. But I'm a tiny, teeny, weeny bit worried about a bit of rain coming. We'll have to see what the ground's like before then, but I mean, even if the rain comes, surely what he's done before, and he's rated 135, he cannot not be in the frame. And you can see across the board there, it's a fifth of the odds, it's 6 places, isn't it? It just feels like a big, big freebie, but I don't know, there's something making me feel refrained and not wanting to pull the trigger. So Scottish, I like back on better ground. I'm sure they've got first time something on there, whether it's a tongue tie or first time hairband or whatever it is. They're going to do something first time so they can excuse the previous runs, but I would definitely see him being well supported in the market. So if you've got half an interest on him, I'd bet him now because I think his price is only shorter, and if you actually decide on the day you don't want to bet him, then you can get out, can't you? But if you leave him, it'll be like the Dublin Race Festival, won't it? It'll be 7-2, 4-1. You end up probably having twice as much on because you think you've missed the prize and actually wasn't a going day. One that I definitely have to give a mention to, because I'll mention this horse forever until he wins a race, is Westport Cove. Now, he is a bit of a rogue. William Mullins keeps talking about this horse being a very difficult one to ride. He's just one of those horses that I've got absolutely no doubt he's got a lot more ability than his current mark, and he hasn't been showing it. So I just think he's a seriously well handicapped. One day, I think it will all fall in his favour. It may be in a race like this, it could all fall in his favour and he runs a good second or third. But the fact that he's getting out to these sort of massive prices, and if there is a bit more rain, that would suit him more than it would a few towards the front, like Bally Stock, we obviously love. Daddy Long Legs as well would probably want less rain as possible. So, yeah, don't exactly know how I'd play it, but I would say that if I was having to advise people what to do, I would probably say make sure you get a holding bet on So Scottish now, because we love the little JP plots. And I do think Westport Cove will run well. I can't imagine him being supported though, Jamie, because he does run like a bit of a dog, doesn't he? And no one seems to like him. How do you see this, right? Because obviously I started off saying the favourite's got a real favourite chance, and I haven't really advised the favourite after. Would you be part of that 50% of the public if I asked 100 people that Daddy Longlegs wins this?
Yeah. It's unoriginal. You're looking at potential Grade 1 horse in the race, Dave. Was he Grade 1 horse? Maybe not. Maybe he's a Grade 2 horse. Sorry, I forgot to mention like the previous race with Kingsfield. Like you look back at the 2 mile novice at the Dublin Racing Festival, like Ballyburn, Slade Steel, Ballymore winner, Supreme winner, Kingsfield was third, and Absurd was a county winner, and Daddy Longlegs was sixth. So to me, that's huge form. And look, you'll see how Kingsfield runs in the Grade 1. But like as you said, like the better the ground, the better his chance. Into big handicap though, where he's jumping to hold up. His jumping was, I suppose, okay, shitload the last day. But he looks like he had plenty of gears on the better ground, and look, it was a nothing race. Fair enough, he was 1 to 10. But I like maybe 3 tentative against him. I suppose the obvious one is the second favourite is Toto 2. With the way Stoke the Fire finished 4th behind him at Naas the last day. Now, this horse was favourite for the Grade 2 in the October Novice hurdle at the October meeting at Cheltenham, and was put away. And I thought this was a horse for the county. Never turned up. Then it turned up after Naas, after Cheltenham, and won after a long break. And that's what's kind of put me off. So the long break, then into big handicap. The other one is the tentative is Cossack Shack, who I had in my head for a Boodles as well. Hasn't run since the Grade 2 juvenile. I know it's a 4-year-old. It's right down the bottom, and it's Connor Stonewatch taking 5 off, so it's like 9 stone 12 or something on his back. Was 6th in the Grade 2 behind Cotta Conti, and Cargeese was in that race as well. So there's a bit of speculative form there. But the one I really like each way against Daddy Longlegs is a very unexposed type. And it's the same colours as Toto 2. And it's a horse called Jasco de Darm. Jasco de Darm, is it? Jasco de Dame. For Henry Drummond at Rachel Backmore. I just like this horse being campaigned and made in hurdles, and maybe the big day is coming. Ran in the maiden hurdle behind Gigaro, was about 9-10 lengths behind him. Then ran in a horse I really fancied for Martin Pipe, and it was for Willie Munns called Lisnagar Fortune. Was 6 lengths behind that, and behind that was Mercury. Mercury came out and won a maiden hurdle and ran okay, I suppose, in the Ballymore. But it's the race afterwards at Naas. Was it Naas, on the 4th of April, where Gorgeous Tom won the race. Special Cadeau was second, but the Busy Fool was third. He hacked up at Tipperary last week. Touch Me Not for the Gigginstown ran at Chamore, hacked up. And this horse is getting in off 10 stone 8 off a mark of 125. The better the ground, I suppose. Never ran on the, I suppose the evening has been running around soft to heavy all year. I think the better the ground will give it a better chance. And he is the one I put up each way against Daddy Longlegs, is Jasco de Dam, yeah.
I like it. Obviously, he's still a novice, so if they won this race, would lose the novice status, but no harm in running a big race coming second. Obviously, like I said, it's 6 places up for grabs, but you're 100% right about that horse. It 1,000,000% wants better ground. So I think what it's done, I think first time up it was on heavy, wasn't it? Ran actually all right to me there, but yeah, we'll have to. I guess I know there's the weather forecast, but you probably want to wait and see what the times are like for the first few races, wouldn't you? I know there's only going to be a handful that you'd see in there, but you'll be able to tell fairly quickly how quick or slow it is compared to what they give the official description. I think they're quite good over in your side of the sea, though, aren't they? They're actually telling it like it is. Right. We've got a Willie Mullins bumper favourite, King, Rasco Gray, Patrick Willie on there. I'll be honest, I do like these bumpers. I do normally have a good look at them. I haven't bothered looking at this one, so I'm sorry about that. We're doing a preview and I haven't really looked at it. Anything in here that we should take note of, mate?
No. Watch it.
Sometimes you get like a horse that you've had a bit of an affiliation with that hasn't quite made the grade, didn't you? And then you think you can get a bit of a win out of it. But I think a lot of these ones, is this the one where they come from the Land Rover sale or something and they keep them behind a bit, don't they? So yeah, it'll be a good one for watching because it'll be good form lines for next season. But from a betting perspective, there's better opportunities. Is there a better opportunity in the William Hill Champion Chase? Willie Mullins teased us a little bit, saying that he could actually run Gaelic Warrior here, didn't he? Obviously being a novice, but coming here because El Fabiolo went to the Celebration Chase. Poor El Fabiolo. This looks pretty good race, right? We've got another horse in here, Banbridge, that would probably want some nicer ground, but does he really want to be running back at 2 miles? I think all in all, right, it looks like a pretty good race on paper, and I think it looks like a good race on paper because it actually looks really competitive. Saint Sam probably wants smaller field, better buddy things his own way from the front. Dice Up Dynamo's never really been as good as he potentially looked like he could be, but maybe he's just not as good as I potentially thought he was going to be. But those first 4 in the betting, Jamie, Dino Blue, Captain Guinness, Banbridge, Gentleman to Me, I'd struggle to sort of confidently split a lot of them. I think it could come down to jumping. It could come down to how things are going. Captain Guinness obviously did go and win the champion chase. Ran well earlier in the season as well. As much as an old boy, had a bit of issue, hasn't he? And then he's come back. Should he not be favourite over the mare Dino Blue? Because as much as we know, well, we said, didn't we, all season, she probably wouldn't stay. She did stay well enough in that mare's chase, considering the ground was that bad. Is she just better than all of these? And obviously getting £7, does that mean that she should be a 15-8 favourite? Or would you say that one of the ones in behind is probably a bit of value? Because I won't be betting the race, but I think if I was gun to head out to bet, I'd probably be having a poke on Captain Guinness, again, especially because it's 3 places, 5 of the odds. I feel like that's a bit of a free roll. How do you see it?
I think they left the champion chase behind it, Dave, to be honest with you. I think she'd have won the champion chase. It's unoriginal. I think she'll win. The only thing is, it's going to be a massive burn-up, really, isn't it? Gentleman to Me, front runner. Saint Sam, front runner. Dice Art Dynamo, front runner. Ashtree Meadow, front runner. I see our esteemed friend put up File Door today. I understand with the 4 line, but it doesn't need softer ground. You know, that's just my opinion. Over 2 miles, I know it was second behind Fabiola down in Cork in the Hillyway at the start of the season. Look, no problem. She's a great price each way, 28-1. But would it be taken off its feet in this kind of a field? It's just the way I see it from the amount of front runners here. Like from Banbridge down, the next 4 runners are all front runners. In my book, Dice Artano is only one way to go. Ashtree Meadow is only one way going. This, especially at this trip. And because Dino Blue and look, Mascada is down there as well. Obviously, I wouldn't be tipping Mascada, but they're used to going handicap pace and they're like a grand annual in a tight track like Cheltenham and the old course. Dino Blue won at the meeting last year, the 2 mile handicap, I think, at the meeting. Oh, I think this is an absolute steal at 15-8, to be honest with you. I think she'll win. I think she'll win easy.
Well, I imagine that the Paddy Power Betfair Towers are watching our live stream, because since you said that, she's gone from 15-8 to 13-8. I gave a mention to Captain Guinness and they pushed him out. Fuck you, Betfair. That's all I can say. One caveat to the Dino Blue thing, right? Because I know that she will be suited to the burn up, and I'm sure she'll be all right, right? Are you not worried about her jumping? Because you think back to that Grand Annual when she made mistakes. Do you not think this is going to be the hardest test of her jumping that she's had, given the fact that it might not be the best horses, but they're going to go quick, right?
I wouldn't disagree with you, but she was in a 2 mile handicap last year of course and distance. She jumped like great. She'll jump better off the better ground, and obviously if it rains too heavily, I'd be worried. But she jumps better on better ground. It's just the way I watched the race today, and like, oh my god, she was jumped great. I understand she is prone to mistake, and I will agree with you there.
But I mean, it's factored in the price. Surely 15-8 does look good, especially considering she's shortening up. Go on, Jamie. Right, 6 o'clock Tuesday, Champion Novice Chase. This is a race that I think will massively divide opinions, and I also think it's one of those races that even after we see the result, maybe the horse that wins the race will still not be the one that people want to be on going forward. I think a lot of people seem to have, like, Monty Star as a bit of a Marmite horse. They either like him and think that he could be like a future Gold Cup type horse, or think he's overrated. I think this Spillane's Tower stepping up in trip, it is a bit of an unknown, but we've seen plenty of horses that have done that, haven't they, in the past, win this 3 mile chase, having just shown a lot of speed earlier in the season. Embassy Gardens, like, stepping back in trip. Everyone thought it was a fairly bad bet for the National Hunt Chase. And then American Mike, they supplemented him for the Brown Advisory, didn't they? Ran no sort of race there. It's mad to see Sharjah in it. Off that handicap that he won at Air for 147, people are actually betting him in this to think that he could run, what, he'd have to run probably close to a stone better to win a novice chase like this. It looks a real good race, mate, but I think the only horse I would expect to win this would be Monty Star, but I'm in the camp that I think he's quite good. I think he looks more of your traditional, real good stay and chaser type horse. And I feel like, remember when Album Photo broke Ruby's leg, didn't he? I think that was behind Presenting Percy. Then they come here. Was that the race when Finian's Oscar won it, lost his cap, and then Townend got run out to the side? I can just see Monty Star actually travelling in this race because as much as they'll go quick with Spillane's Tower because he runs over a shorter trip, they won't want to go his normal quick pace because they want to make sure he stays up the trip. So I think I'd side with Monty Star. I don't think he's a bad price, but you can see there's already been money for Spillane's Tower. I think that'll continue to come. Obviously, as I say that, look, Monty Star's being nibbled, but I think I'd side with Monty Star. I don't know whether that price is enough to lure me in, but I'm sure by the time it comes to 6 o'clock tomorrow, I'll probably bet Monty Star. How do you see it? Because you put up Spillane's Tower last time it ran, strong fancy on that, and did it everything that you said it would do. Do you think it'll win this?
No.
Good. Thank you.
I think it was at the end of its tether really did in the grade 1, and it was a poor grade 1 in my book because, as I said, it was off level weights of Blood Destiny. A Blood Destiny's a 2 miler, it's not a 2.5 miler, and got away with it. And like he was legless at the end, really over 2.5 miles. And fair play to Monty's past trainer Jimmy Mangan down in Cork there to win a grade 1 and back into big time and fair play. You technically look at it, David, exactly what you're saying there. Like Sharjah winning a handicap of 147. I see it was 25-1 earlier, 14-1.
Like, look at Pat. Can you see the odds? Sorry to cut you off. Can you see the odds now? He's 6-1 with Betfair and Baddy.
6-4, yeah. 14's betting 6-5 each way. Like technically, himself and Sandra Clegane on ratings are the best 2 horses in the race, and they're 14s and 20s. Now, sorry, that's Sandra Clegane. Salvatore Ziggy are there handicapped and rated higher than the rest, so just a bit weird. I'm like, I suppose, as you said there, we were talking after the race, like he was like off 147. He was just better than all them there, really. Like, you know what I mean? I'm going to be a bit controversial here, and I was with Monty Star all day. I like him. Obviously, he was second, and a very good second behind the potential Gold Cup horse. But I don't know why I'm saying this, and I always thought this horse was a bit of a whatever. I'm not going to say. I'm starting to come around to NBC Gardens. I think they were really stupid, to be honest, to put them in the National Hunt Chase. I think it's a 3 miler. It doesn't, like, I don't think it was suited by the pace to race the National Hunt Chase. Like Corvus Cross, obviously he's kind of franked the form a bit, really, hasn't he, in the entry grade 1 against an open company. And I didn't think Corvus Cross would do nothing in that race because I thought it was just a crawl and he just was the fastest horse that won the National Hunt Chase. And I don't think it suited Embassy Gardens. I'm like, you go back to his maiden chase, beginner's chase at Punchestown this year, and he hammered Let's Go Champ by 13 lengths. Then he went on to Nace and he won easy against Sandra Clegane. I think he's a 3 miler, and I think Townend might make a bit of use of him here and buck him out in front. And I think 4-1 is fair. I've had a lot of thought into this race. I like Monty Star going forward, but I think maybe because of the way the race might pan out, I'm coming down on NBC Gardens, and I don't know why, and I think has a good chance of 4-1. I'll go with NBC Gardens.
Yeah, fair enough. I think it's one of those, isn't it, that if they'd have put the prices the other way around for Monty Star and NBC Gardens, you probably would have ended up falling on the side of saying Monty Star.
Yeah,
the key thing with NBC Gardens as well is he flopped in that Albert Bartlett last year, didn't he? And then came to Punchestown, the Irish Mirror Novice hurdle, the 3 mile hurdle.
Warrior.
And he ran all right, to be fair. Ran 6, ran better than he did at Cheltenham, but obviously he was in no form that spring, was he? And as much as he got battered by Corbett's Cross, who we've seen is a very, very good horse to run as close and to put Jerry Colum under as much pressure as he did, still came second to him. And they obviously knew they had fat to file, and that was on bad ground. And he's probably got a chance, hasn't he? But I'm still, it's definitely through rose-tinted glasses. I think Monty Star could be an absolute beast. Yet he's yet to really prove that he could be that type of horse. I mean, it's more on, I don't know, gut feel more than anything. And that's a terrible, terrible way to tip up a favourite, right? Right, 6:35. We've got ourselves another bumper. Unknown Entity would be the other Willie Mullins in the bumper type horse. Is there anything in here that you think is worth a mention to our loyal viewers?
Number 20, Dave, down the very bottom. I think he's 10-1. She's 20-1. 10-1 is for Gavin Cromwell, called 6.5. Something to keep an eye on. We'll get on to the mayor's bumper the following day. This horse ran behind a horse called Familiar Dreams It was 3 lengths behind it, and it's a big price each way, 10-1, I think, because Familiar Dreams is running the Grade 3 Mares race on the Wednesday. This horse was 3 lengths behind Familiar Dreams, and Familiar Dreams won, I thought, very impressively at Fairyhouse, and this is Mare's Bumper, and it's a horse that is on the up. So it's just one horse that caught my eye, sentimental bet because of the form with Familiar Dreams. Look, it's a 20-runner bumper. There's a lot of unknown quantities, but just something that caught my eye, and 6.5 each way will do for me for a bit of a bet to watch.
I like it. And the key thing is we know how good Willie Mullins is, and yes, he does farm all of Punchestown. However, they're always typically overbet, aren't they, in the markets? And if money does come for something in an Irish bumper, it is normally wise money. The perk you have of not putting up a Willie Mullins horse is that they are starting at a higher point than any Willie Mullins horse would do. I'm not saying they will, but if this 6.5 went off at 9-4, an unknown entity went out to 10-1, that would tell you all you needed to know. But the perk you've got is they start at bigger prices. So, Jaime, giving me something to think about in there. I love the bumpers at Punchestown as well. I know it steered me probably not in the best light going for the horses. I have an affiliation for lots of them. Six Shoot was one of them, wasn't he, when he won at Punchestown, and I thought he was going to be the worldie for the following season. But they are very good bumpers, regardless of what the standard looks like or what type of race. They're always pretty good. Right, we'll move on to Wednesday. First race gave me sort of similar feel to the second race on the Tuesday. I did have a look at it, but I wouldn't be able to pull myself to have a strong opinion in it. Anything that you liked in here?
I like 2 in here, Dave. Each way pokes, really, whatever the price they come out of. Willie Mullins has one in here called Maroto, number 17. It ran in Clonmel last day, and I watched her expect the winner, Lady Brazil, for Henry de Bromhead and Rachel Blackmore. Townend, I thought, given not a great ride, to be honest with you, and it was closing in the end. I think the jumping needs to improve, but I think it might jump better on better ground. Really caught my eye the way it finished, and I thought if Townend was a little bit closer, it would have won the race. That's one. And the other one has to be, and it will probably, probably favourite. If you get a price on it, is number 23, Harsh. Fourth in the Boodles behind Ark in the Morning, Eagle Rain in Dowie. Now, in Dowie wasn't great in the Grade 2 at Fairyhouse behind Butler's Secret. But this Harsh was the next flat horse, and I think this horse will be waiting for better ground all year, in my book, and I think this has a great chance, and I'd be waiting to back this horse in the handicap. And yeah, those would be my 2 tentative selections against the field, because there's no prices. Obviously, it'd be Harsh and Maroto. They're 2 that caught my eye.
Nice. We've got the benefit there. Anyone that's watching it now, keep your eye on the odds compilers and when they open the markets, because you never know, they might balls up and give us a bit of a price on them. Second race, 305, 2 mile, 3.5 furlongs. A race that I was about to swear then. I don't really care about this race, do you?
I do, yeah. Just absolute good thing, this.
Blizzard of Oz.
No, God, oh no.
Go on, who wins it?
The top horse wins. Answer the K. Stop rate of 138, and it gets £7. John Shinnock, who's a good claimer, £7. Won at Nace before Cheltenham. Beat Captain Cody. Captain Cody then went into Fairyhouse and won a Grade 2 Novice Hurdle. Then ran on Martin Pipe behind Better Days Ahead, Waterford Whispers, Queen de Bourbon, who absolutely hacked up it air, and only finished, 3/4 of a length behind Key de Bourbon. And Key de Bourbon is going to be a Grade 1 chaser next year, isn't it? So I think this is, out of the 2 days, this is my nap of the whole 2 days, and like this will just win. It's just the best horse in the race, and the £7 claimer is just making it an even better claim to win. So yeah, answer the cave, get on.
Do you reckon we might get a bit of a price about it, because obviously it's Terence O'Brien as opposed to being Willie Mullins, or not?
I just think the Willie Mullins horses are no good in this, Dave, and he might get a price, but I don't think he's definitely going to be favourite because of the form of Key de Bourbon and the way it ran into Martin Pipe.
we're getting stuck in regardless by the sounds of that. Then happy days. Look, and we knew that Jamie would be bullish. We knew Jamie would give you a couple of winners. Race after, we got exactly the same trip, 2 mile, 3.5 furlong. I mean, this is a race that I am interested in. However, it's already full of disappointments, isn't it? It makes me feel a little bit sad. It's like the sports day race at school at the end of the year where you just put all the twats together, didn't you? And then just let them have a good time. You might end up with an impressive winner in it, mightn't you? But you have to remember, it's not the best race. No Flies on him was definitely a dubious ride. Was it his penultimate start? Or even when he ran behind Tully Hill, like he was well supported, wasn't he? Didn't really do a lot with him. But you talked about that Fairy House race, and he was shit there as well, wasn't he? It worries me whether the fact that they're playing with him or he's just not that good, but I don't think he's 137 good, so I get put off by him. Mr. Gift was one that people were talking about, weren't they, for a Supreme as a bit of a lively outsider for William Mullins, so you can see why he's the head of the market. I don't know. I know the race is like worse than he's been running against, but I don't know if I'd want 11 to 8 about him when you can get 11 to 8 on probably some other better bets across the couple of days or few days, I think. But it would be a race that I probably wouldn't have an opinion in there, but I'm hoping you've got something that might be worth a tickling ear.
I was the same as you, Dave. I was looking at it today and I was waiting for the prices and I was like, then I saw it, Mr. Giff at 11 to 8 and how keen he is over 2.5 miles. I know, look, he's rated 141 and he's what, 4, to be honest with you, no flies in him, £4 less than him, like no flies in him. Not a chance in hell would I back no flies in him. I'm going to back King here each way against him, and I think he's a knocking bet each way to nothing as Cletus Pula. I mean, like, this horse has won 2 miles 2 over Nace. Like, it was second at Christmas behind the best horse novice in training in Ballyburn. Ran second in a 2 mile 6 race in the per times qualifier at Nace. Then ran in the per times. This doesn't say 3 miles. Back at 2.5 miles. I think this is optimum trip. What's not to like in the way of the? I know, look, he was beaten 25 lengths by Ballyburn, but to me, that's still the best form in the race compared to. Look, it isn't the best form because Mr. Giff obviously ran 4th, 5th in the Supreme and wasn't great in entry in my book, and they're stepping him up in trip. Not for me, but I think this is a knocking bet each way, and it's Cletus Pula against Mr. Giff for me, you know.
I like it. I will just reiterate that Daddy Longlegs slapped him up 12 lengths. This horse is rated 134, and Daddy Longlegs has been given an official mark of 135, and he's 4 to 1, 6 places. So regardless of the rain, Christ almighty, he looks a better and better bet in hindsight, doesn't he? But obviously he goes before these ones do, so get on the Daddy Longlegs, I suppose. Novice hurdle, grade 1, 3 miles. I mean, I feel like this is a pretty good looking race, to be honest with you. We think about some of these horses for next season, especially being chasers, that we've got some nice types in here. Dancing City, varying prices, which is always good to see. 5 to 2 top price with William Hill. They're taking a bit of an opinion, as low as 7 to 4 in other places. I thought at Aintree, this horse was... He definitely wasn't one of the most impressive winners of the entire week, but he impressed me a lot more than I thought I'd seen before. Now, I know when he beat Predator's Gold, he looked like he was quite good. I didn't think he ran terrible at Cheltenham, to be honest with you. I still thought he ran all right, but there was just something about him at Aintree that just made me think he probably is the best 3 mile novice hurdler this season. So I think that when you can see 5 to 2, 2 to 1 about him, I think he should be a lot shorter, in my opinion. Better Days Ahead obviously won the pipe, didn't he? We potentially... I know you put him up when we did the preview and you were pretty sweet on him, to be honest with you. That was one of your beacon bets. But I guess I'd say for the general lot, we all thought that would have been a graded horse. Wasn't. Ended up the pipe one. Hindsight's a wonderful thing, but looked like the obvious sort of hindsight one. And I feel a little bit like with Stellar Story. Like, I know a few people put him up for the Albert Bartlett. Some of his form looks okay. Obviously running behind Slade still. But he makes me feel a little bit like Affordale Fury, that he had his day at Cheltenham and he's coming here and he's in as a 3 to 1 poke. But if you look at the prices they were reflectively at Cheltenham, I know they've got to reverse the form within each other, but Dancing City's been out and shown that he's probably better than what he showed at Cheltenham. Stellar Story hasn't quite backed it up yet. So I think that Dancing City is a fairly strong bet about the 5 to 2, but you can see obviously he's a short of 7 to 4 and it gets to the point where you wonder how low you'd let him go down. I'd have Dancing City shorter. I'd have him about a 3 to 1 poke. Stellar Story probably be in and around the same price, if not a little bit bigger. Better Days Ahead, for all I do like him, I think he's a good horse. I think he should be a bigger price. And everything else, Lecky Watson, High Class Hero, they should be double digits. High Class Hero was one that looked quite good early on the season, didn't he, Jamie? But hasn't really fulfilled it. Would you be on a similar thought process after Aintree that Dancing City does look the best 3 mile novice hurdler this season?
Yeah, he was really good, wasn't he? Very impressive. He impressed me big time, I thought, yeah. I couldn't have Stellar Story around Punchestown area, Dave, especially on a little bit better ground. Like, it's a tighter track, and he took ages to pick up the jukebox man at Cheltenham. Better Days Ahead might obviously improve into Grade 1 company. The only horse I'm going to back and here, and we were on, remember we were on about the day he wanted Thurles, and he said he's so small, and like he got caught in the ground in the Albert Bartlett High Class Hero, and he's been running the summer last year all summer, and he liked the better ground, and I think he's definitely an each way stab against Dancing City with the better ground out of all these in the field. I think like you could get bigger than 8-1 on the day, 17-2 there, William Hill, 15-2, 7-1. Like if you got 10-1 maybe on Wednesday on High Class Hero, I couldn't put you off backing him each way because I think he'd be better. He's better on the, like if it's even yielding ground, you could say good to soft really. He'll definitely show up better than he did in the Albert Bartlett, I'll put it that way, Joe. But it's Dancing City for the win, and it's High Class Hero each way for me. Yeah.
Nice. He's as short as 4-1 as well, High Class Hero. He might end up being one of those that's, I wouldn't say the wise guy's horse, but I could see him being fairly well fancied. I'd be joining you on the two of them. I don't know if I'd bet High Class Hero each way, though. I would be semi-tempted, especially seeing the top 2 prices there, to drive down to Hills and have maybe a ton poke on Dancing City and then have a score on High Class Hero to sort of stake save but make a small bit of money. But, we're on the same thought process finally. It's only taken us 2 days and 3-4 races to get there. This will be a nice, easy one, right? We've got the champion bumper, Grade 1 bumper, Jasmine DeVoe. I mean, unbelievable the fact that El Fabiola gets turned over when it could be the 100th winner for Willie Mullins, and Patrick manages to get the win. It's almost like it was written in the stars, wasn't it? Romeo Coolio lost nothing in defeat, but obviously they're priced up based on how they finished at Cheltenham. I, for one, would struggle to see how they're going to reverse that form, but it's good to see William Money's in here because he looked like a bit of a decent talent. I'd probably just have to pitch the only question I could in there. Do you think that William Money would have won at Cheltenham? I know we can't definitely say which one way or the other, but is he priced on the fact that everyone thought he could go well at Cheltenham, or is he priced on the fact that his ability is up there to warrant him being, look, he's shorter than Romeo Coolio with a lot of bookies. Do you think William Money's got a proper chance, or do you think the bumper form from Cheltenham will hold up?
I think the bumper form from Cheltenham will hold up, yeah. Because the horse that William Money beaten Navan isn't that good. Say the chance. Like, ran it air and was nowhere. Do you know what I mean? Couldn't keep up the pace. What was the name of her? Jazz the Cot or something like that. It was Gordon Hill, a horse that won that air race, but no, like he was impressive in Ace. There's no doubt he won by 5 lengths, but like he beat Fleur in the Park, who's running in crap bumpers all year in the summer. Do you know what I mean? No, he might be just a potential improver, and obviously he hasn't gotten Cheltenham, and you have to look at all that. Of course, here we have number 5 that we cribbed. How did that horse win at Fairy House? I've never known. It was a fantastic ride by Jody Townend.
And the hood was on, wasn't it? On that, I know you're probably going to talk about it anyway, but have to ask you, given the fact that we said he was a bit of a dog, they put the hood on, he went and won. 14-1 a bit too big about him, do you think?
Could be, couldn't it?
Second brave man to tip him up though, right?
I wouldn't tip him up at all, no. But like, probably before when we seen the fast side of Vega, it's probably better than everything inside here. You know, fast in Vega, it looks like he's done with the game. Sounds victorious, yeah, it would be interesting here as well. But look, to me, I don't know, needs further. I'm going pocket talking here. I was all over Romeo Cooley for the bumper. I backed it on the day at 20-1. I couldn't let it go at the price. Looked the winner for me all the way around. And I think back here on a bit of a speedier track, I think will be Jasmine DeVoe, because I thought Jasmine DeVoe needed every single yard of that bumper at Cheltenham. and the hill came in time for it. Where I think if you go back here on a sharper track, and Romeo Coolio now has a bit more experience, the inexperience I thought got him. Like Jasmine DeVoe won a bumper round ace over 2 miles 2, and looks to be more of a stare, where I think Romeo Coolio might be more. Look, the speed obviously that Jasmine DeVoe showed up the hill is obviously was second to none, but he looked to me more of a stare, and Romeo Coolio looks more of a speed horse. Now we're talking nonsense, but I really like Romeo Coolio, and I'll be backing Romeo Coolio. I have a soft spot for this horse. I think this is a really good horse going forward. Even if it doesn't win on Wednesday, I'm going to be backing this horse a lot next year in Novice Hurdles. Yeah.
Nice. And I do think the reference of me bringing up the William Money part is when you do factor all that into there, right? Regardless whether you've got a soft spot for a horse or not, he has got the closest to Jasmine DeVoe, and there are conceivable reasons why he would be able to reverse that form. So him being a bigger price than William Money is in some places, for me, is madness. Been there and proven it. I think they're the right ones towards the top. I did have a little bit of a soft spot for Argento Boy before he went to Cheltenham. Ran crap, but when it's one run in a bumper, I'll be reluctant to put a whole and utter line through that one. But like he's 100 to 1. That's mad. Even for me wanting to have a little go. But obviously I'll have to mention it because it would be bigger on the exchanges. I'll definitely be having a 5 or a 10 on him. Because if he's 200 on the exchanges, at some point he trades 50s, get a little bit of a free roll. But yeah, he disappointed at Cheltenham for sure. But I did think his run before was visually pretty good. And going back that way round, we know there's lots of horses that just don't go the other way round. I'm not saying he can't at Cheltenham, but he went this way round before, and I was pretty impressed.
I mean, like, you ought to know there's 50 to 1. Like obviously got bogged down on the ground at Cheltenham too. Like, do you know, on a bit of better ground, you know, as well. So, you know, you could have turned up here, like, you know, but yeah, it's a bumper. It's a great one. Like, they're all good horses. Like, technically, they're all good horses. Like in this discipline. I'll give a shout out to a local trainer here, Shuttle Diplomacy. Tom Cooper won really well at Limerick the last day, but it was on really soft ground. You know what I mean? Be great to see Tom Cooper in the big time again, and I hope it runs well.
Nice. I mean, it's definitely one of the better races of the whole week. Like I say, I always like the bumpers at Punchestown regardless. I think they're very good and deep. Obviously, we know the Irish horses are better than the Brits anyway, but this particularly looks quite good. And I definitely wouldn't be putting people off for things at bigger prices. I'd be probably lukewarm on a couple that are looking short enough. Speaking of looking short enough, Jamie, it is the return of Galopin de Champ versus Fast or Slow. Unfortunately, it's like a horrible thing to even mention. I don't even know the best way to word it. But obviously, we lost Shishkin last night, which is brutal. And Elixir Donuts on Saturday. Even a horse that I quite like, Zonda, on Thursday, lost his way. It's brutal when it comes to that stuff, isn't it? Because it is really sad. I don't even know if it's out of turn saying like this, but I'd try and be more positive about that type of stuff in the fact that at least we got to see them doing what they were doing. They got to go and like live it and go and get to do stuff. Yes, I know we were potentially going to see this clash at Punchestown, but I know you had a soft spot for Shishkin as well. I know everyone out there liked him as a horse. It's terribly sad, isn't it? I guess it just goes to show that we should appreciate these big bad boy, beautiful beasts when they're doing it. And it just goes to show, doesn't it, that although stuff can happen on the track, being cast in a box, it probably, I don't even know what the ratio is, but it must happen thousands of times a day across the world. And although they need some help getting up, most of them can. And this is just a freak accident. Just makes it a million times worse, I suppose, that when it's a bad horse. I know every horse's life is just as valuable, but you know what I mean, right? So if you want to say anything on that, you can, but I just wanted to give it a little mention. I don't want to make everyone tear up. If you want to say anything, we can. If not, then we'll just get on to the Punchestown Gold Cup. For me,
commiserations to the connections. He was a star in my book. He broke my heart 2 times, especially in the Supreme when I was all over Abracadabras. And obviously in the King George where he had it at his mercy, he should have won it. He was just unlucky. Lady Luck wasn't with him that day, and pity. And it would have been great to see him here. I wouldn't have been over keen on him in this race, but look, it would have been great to see him over here. Yeah,
definitely. That King George run was pretty good. We saw that we've seen in the past. This race over and over and over again has thrown up a few probable upsets, I guess. I do think, it's very easy to say, isn't it? Galopin de Champ is an absolute weapon. You have to have that small reservation in your head, obviously, with the fact that he and Brave Man's Game both got beat by Fast or Slow last year. And he's racing at Punchestown is where he keeps getting beaten. I know he's won it before. and Fast or Slow seem to get the better of him. Obviously, unseated in that Gold Cup, you would never really know, but let's be honest, he wouldn't have beaten Gallup in the Champ. This is a different type of test, though, right? So I don't know. I'm not scared of backing a shorty. I wonder what sort of price he would be on the exchanges. Like, I feel like if I could get a little bit of odds against him, Gallup in the Champ, I would be very tempted to throw a few quid at him. But he's also one of them, obviously, earlier in the season, didn't he? Wasn't jumping so well early on. So there's probably enough risks attached in there, given the fact that we know he's the greatest horse, to bet him at the short price that he is. But then, in my eyes, there's just as much risk with taking the punt that Fast or Slow is going to do him, because to my mind, nothing else should really be able to beat the horse. But from a pricing perspective, I think the 12-1 Karat Rambler versus the 130 Fast or Slow seems a bit of an extreme gap, to be honest with you. It may be that they're running in behind Gallup in the Jump. It's probably going to be that there's betting without Gallup in the Jump out there as well. So yeah, I just fully expect him to win. Whether I put my money where my mouth is a different story or not. If there was betting without Gallup in the Jump, which, like I say, I'm sure there would be, I'd be half tempted to look at Karat Rambler, because we've got 9 runners in here, so there would be 3 places up for grabs without Gallup in the Jump. And as much as Karat Rambler would potentially be a strange horse to beat Gallup in the Jump, I don't think if you took Gallup in the Jump out this race, it would be much of an upset to expect that Karat Rambler could do the rest of them. So haven't decided what I'm doing in there. Gallup in the Jump for me obviously just wins, but he's priced accordingly. You don't need to watch this show to find that out. But I may look for a little bit of an in away from that in the betting without, but I wouldn't be heavily invested in. How do you see it, mate? Fast or Slow? Do you think he can do him again?
Maybe. Maybe. I would never take a late 11 4-6 on Gallup in the Champ at the end of the season at Punchestown. There's something saying in the back of my head that he's actually going to be better than he's ever shown. Look, he's won the 3 Mile Novice hurl around here anyway, do you know what I mean? And he's won a Durkin, and even though he wasn't great this year in the Durkin, he's surely going to be better here. But Fast or Slow obviously came from France as a 3-year-old and is won on what they call it Naughty, very soft. But I think he's better on better ground. That's just me. And he showed it last year at this race. I think Gallup in the Champ needs soft ground, and that's just me. Like, it was soft ground in the Gold Cup, and they walked home behind him. I think to see at his best, he needs proper soft ground, in my opinion. And I think the better the ground, Fast or Slow has a better chance, as a chance to get near him again and beat him. And I will be, what did they say, 130 there, Betfair. I will be a backer at that price against Gallup in the Champ all day, yeah. Especially because the rain is around, but it's not that much. I think the better the ground, I always said about Fast or Slow, especially the way he beat him last year, is the only chance he'll beat Gallup in the Champ. Look, I know he beat him at the start of the season on soft heavy in the Durkin, but Gallup and jumped like a table that day. But yeah, I'd be backing Fast or Slow for some other reason, because I think he's a better chance on better ground against him, put it that way.
Yeah, fair enough. And we all know that Martin Brazil is a very shrewd trainer, and exactly like you said, he'll probably know that this is the type of race where he's got his best chance of beating Gallup in the Jump. So he's never going to send a horse to a Gold Cup undercooked, but I would imagine he left a little bit on him for this race in particular, especially after getting the job done last year.
He was technically unlucky in the Gold Cup day. It was just an unlucky unseat, you know what I mean? Look, I know he probably wouldn't have won the race, but look, it would be nice to see him be there, do you know what I mean? It was just on a lucky tip up, do you know what I mean? So I'm like, he went earlier, so like he's a bit of a fresher horse in my opinion.
Nice. Well, I mean, let's hope a few people think the same as you, and then Gallup in the Champ goes up to 6-4 on the machine, and I can get stuck in. Right, this is a pretty nice looking race, to be honest with you. The penultimate race on Wednesday, so the second to last race that we will be covering. Been some market support for Let's Go Champ. I'm pretty sure I remember this horse going for the sales in the Tattersall sales a long while ago. I feel like Seddon as well might have been nibbled at some point at final declarations or in the week. I don't know if they had a prices race up, but there's something about that horse. I think there's money going around for him. One, you're real sweet on it. This isn't a race I've done enough work on it. I did talk about James de Burley last time when he ran at Aintree. Terrible price as far as I'm concerned. I know a winner's a winner, but looking at the state of that, I wouldn't be bullish on anything. But you do have a very bullish opinion in this. I say bullish. I'm setting you up to fail there, aren't I? But you fancy one in it, didn't you?
Yeah, I fancy two, yeah. And you just mentioned one, and one you love that you've... yeah. I hope and I pray that the rain stays away for the golfer. I mean, like off 143, back at the trip that he should be. Like he's a 2.5 miler in my opinion. I mean, like 11-2 with Jack Kennedy going for the trainer Trockies Championship. And like this has to be a great bet, 11-2, back on a sounder surface because he just doesn't go on soft ground in my opinion. And the other one you just mentioned was second. I backed it last year. It was beaten by the Honeyball horse in the 3 mile handicap hurdle. Kilbay King won it. And it's Let's Go Champ. And the only reason I'm saying Let's Go Champ because I tipped up NBC Gardens and it was second to NBC Gardens on soft ground over 2 miles, 7.5 over Punchestown at the start of the season. And this horse is crying out for better ground. So we love a handicap pace. It ran off 125 in that 3 mile handicap hurdle. It doesn't really stay at 3 miles, might be 2 miles, 2 miles 5 and a bit. I punched down really up the streets up to 131 as a chaser. And I think if NBC Gardens wins the 3 mile chase, I think this will go close to the golfer and James the Birdie for favouritism really in this race. And they're my two against the field, the golfer and Let's Go Champ.
Very nice. Right. We've got one more race to cover for these 2 days. We will be back Wednesday evening to cover Thursday, Friday, and Saturday. Yes, we won't have final decks for Saturday, but screw you. I'm tired. This race looks like a bit of a banger, to be fair. And do you remember when we did the entry preview? I told you there was one I wanted to bet. Didn't get declared, did it? Has been declared here, and it's being nibbled. Now, I know there's varying form for all sorts of stuff, but Mozzie's sister, if you go back and watch this filly's bumper, visually, she is a very, very good horse. Obviously, it's difficult to get like real depth into the bumper form this season because in hindsight, it'll be much easier next term to find out how they all go. But if you haven't already watched it, go back and watch Mozzie's sister's bumper win. Just was mad the last time. First time tongue tie, admittedly, but it was just very, very, very impressive. Just looked like a very good horse, and I can see why when it's priced up at 10-1 that it's shortened up. 3 places up for grabs with most bookies. There's a few that are paying 4. I know she's never going to probably be all the way down to favourite, but she's definitely going to be single figures. Not just saying that because she's obviously blue at the moment, but she'll be 5 or 6-1. And we've touched on before, haven't we? I don't mind betting a relatively short one each way if I feel like they're a bit of a freebie. Can't guarantee that she's going to place. I think she'll probably win. Well, not say she'll probably win or bomb out, but I think she'll run very well regardless. And while she's probably twice the price that I'd have her at, I would more likely want to bet her each way. So if she was 5-1 at the time of recording, although there's a fifth of the odds and first 4, and it might sound weird to suggest one earlier at 5-1 I bet each way, I wouldn't be betting her each way. Like I take the swing. The fact that she's twice the price that I think she should be, I'm happy to bet her each way because I don't think I'm losing the value in the price, right? The payout for me risking 50 quid at £25 each way ends up paying more than I would have had if I had the 50 at 5-1, if you know what I mean. 50 at 5-1 pays 300, doesn't it? And if I had 25 each way at 10-1, it's going to pay more than the 300, but I get the concession of the first few places. So done and it, completed. We don't need to do any more of the preview. Should we just thank all the viewers and say good night? But mate, Mozzie's sister 10-1, definitely get involved. Reasonable bet each way. I fancy on that one. I say reasonable bet each way. I'll have 25 each way on Mozzie's sister. At 10-1, are you with me or are you against me? Because I know you've already touched on Familiar Dreams, form line with something else. We know Fleur Fuzil, Aurora Vega in there. Is Mozzie's sister on your radar, or are you just going to be polite and entertain me?
She's not on my radar anyway, Dave, but whichever. You've a compelling case, and I wouldn't put you off. I think Aurora Vega, Aurora Vega 3-1 is the biggest lay of all time, in my opinion. But look, I think it's been priced up, obviously, because maybe a bit of better ground. Because she's running on good ground all summer and then went into the race at Gorn. But to me, it's a 2-hand reel, and it's between the second favourite and Familiar Dreams. Familiar Dreams, obviously, as I said, won the listed race at Fairyhouse, beat Magic McColligan by 5.5 lengths and was really, really impressive. It's stepping up from listed to grade 3. But you have to remember that Fleur of Fazil is a grade 2 Mayor's Bumper winner. Absolutely hosed up at the Dublin Racing Festival and was 12 lengths behind Jasmine DeVoe in the Champion Bumper. It's by far the best form in the race. It's off level weights with Familiar Dreams. It's coming down in grade slightly, obviously, from grade 2 to grade 3, and it's off the same weight as Familiar Dreams. 72 is absolutely ludicrous in my book. look, I know it's mares. You just don't know how if they get off the right side of the bed. But 7-2 is huge. Look, each way Familiar Dreams all day. Can't see it at the first three. But I think Fleur of Fazil is an absolute good thing, and it'll win.
Happy days. Because we can both be right in that instance, can't we? Mozzie's shit sister can shorten up, come fourth, and then you can give everyone the winner at 7-2. I like it. Again, said it before, I'll say it again. I like the bumpers at Punchestown, so I'm glad you've got a few strong opinions in there as well. Appreciate all you guys spending the time putting up with us for, well, not just this, but for the whole of the season. As I say, we will be back Wednesday to cover the Thursday, Friday, Saturday stuff. Hopefully, my tonsils will no longer exist, but that probably won't happen. Jamie, any parting words of wisdom for our loyal viewers out there? You obviously touched on a couple of your stronger bets. Do you really want to ram it into them and tell them what the best bets for those couple of days would be?
Answer the Cave and Flora Vasilia.
Nice. I mean, you go back and watch my comments in it because that's what I fancy in each of the races. Make sure you are subscribed to the channel. Make sure you like the video. Drop a comment below if you would like to. And we will see you all again on Wednesday.